What do you wear during a panel discussion? You look at your closet and you go, what should I wear? My name is Kristen Arnold, and I am a master facilitator and a leading authority on moderating panel discussions. And while I am not a fashion consultant, I do know that there are some very specific, tried and true recipes that you can use so that you can look your best during that panel discussion. Let's find out what those are. You might want to use this panel discussion as an excuse to go buy yourself a new outfit. Like, why not? But you probably already have something in your closet that will work just perfectly. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the things that you might want to consider as you're selecting that perfect outfit. And then we're going to get into some specifics for men and for women so that you can look your best during a panel discussion. Let's dive right in. There are 8 factors, yes, 8 factors that you should consider before you pull out that outfit out of your closet. So let's go through those 8 factors. The first one is the event. Is the event a formal event, an informal event? The panel, is it on the main stage? Is it a breakout? Is it an informal chat in one of the centers of excellence? All of these things will affect which outfit you're going to choose. What's the industry? Some industries are buttoned up, somber, serious. You're going to wear more of a conservative outfit than maybe a creative industry. The audience, who's going to be in the audience and what will they be wearing? If you're at a business hotel, that's going to be different than you are if you're at a Florida resort. Ask yourself, what is the audience going to be wearing? And you want to be wearing something at least one step higher than what the audience is wearing. Is there a stage? If there is a stage, is it higher than the audience? Probably is. Much higher than the audience? That will affect what the audience will see. You do not want a Sharon Stone effect. You do not want to have the soles of your shoes, where I've actually seen somebody who had a hole in the bottom of their shoe, and you do not want to have those kinds of things visible. So know what the audience is going to see on that stage level, and what's the backdrop. For example, if this backdrop was black, I would be completely disappeared. I'd be a floating head. So you want to make sure that there is contrast between you and your background. Think about the microphones that are going to be used. If it's a lavalier microphone, you need to have something that it clips to, as well as something that the battery pack can clip onto. If it's a handheld, it's not going to make any difference. If it's a headset, well, you probably don't want to wear anything interesting in your hair or dangly earrings or noisy bracelets or anything. So you want to think about what microphones are going to be used and where is the placement of the microphones. 2 other things are really important, and it has nothing to do with the event. These 2 are about, number 1, your own personal style. What's the outfit that you feel most comfortable in? If you're a jeans and sneaker kind of person, well, if jeans and sneakers fit with all those other factors, then wear jeans and sneakers because you feel more comfortable in that. You have to have a certain degree of comfort. Personally, I like wearing a jacket and a shirt and some pants that have pockets in it. That's my personal style. That's what I feel most comfortable in. I like wearing a bit of a high heel shoe because I'm tall, and I like being even taller because that's my personal style. The other piece of your personal style that you might want to consider is the vibe that you want to give across. Now, some people call this branding. What's your brand? My brand, I wear a lot of blues, so you'll probably always see me in blue. Some people have a brand that's expressing kind of the vibe that they're giving off. I have a friend of mine who always wears Hawaiian shirts. It does not matter what the event is. It's a higher end Hawaiian shirt for really high end conferences. It's his vibe because he's a casual, very approachable person. So think about what your own personal style is, what you feel comfortable in, as well as what's the vibe that you want to give off as well. So those are the 8 factors that you should consider when you're thinking about what outfit that you should pick. Next, we're gonna go into some just general guidelines. Now, I want you to hear this and hear this well. I am not saying you have to wear this. I'm just saying this is what I see a lot of people wear. It seems to work. It's a best practice. So if you jive with that, that makes sense for you, awesome. If you go, no, I don't, that doesn't make sense to me, I want to wear something else, just be very intentional about what you're doing and why. And you'll be able to pull it off fabulously. I hope you understand that. Let's just take a moment. In the comments section, do you understand what I am saying? Please note, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying here's some general guidelines. But when you want to stray against those guidelines, just be very intentional. Just put it in the comment section. And oh, by the way, since you're down there, why don't you just like this video and maybe subscribe to this channel? I'd really appreciate it. Okay, general tip number 1, feel confident in what you're wearing. It's something that you feel awesome. You're like, yes, I am the shiz. I am an awesome, brilliant panelist or awesome, amazing panel moderator. You feel good in it. It's tailored. It fits you perfectly. This is not the time to try out a new outfit. I know you want to give yourself an excuse to buy that new outfit, but wear that new outfit at another event before this panel discussion, because you might find there's some idiosyncrasy to that outfit that you did not know about until you started wearing it. You've got to feel comfortable so that you're not constantly preoccupied. Am I pulling down my dress? Can people see the hole in the bottom of my shoe? Tip number 2, don't wear outdated clothes. It might be the most awesome jacket, the most awesome outfit. You love it to death. You feel like $1,000,000 in it. But if it is outdated, it sends the subliminal message to your audience that your thoughts and your opinions and what you're saying is outdated. Just something to think about. Tip number 3, wear contrasting colors. So for example, I have a black jacket on and a very jewel-toned shirt. This is a contrast in colors. It makes it easy for people to see, and especially if it's being recorded, if you're on Zoom or a remote, you want to have a contrast in colors. So for example, if you're wearing a blue blazer and you're wearing a gray shirt, that is low in contrast. It's still fine, but if you really want to look your best, I would wear something that has some high contrast. Okay, here's another tip that is similar to having high contrast, but you want to have a pop of color somewhere. Specifically for men, a pop of color can be on your tie, if you're wearing a tie, or maybe your shirt, or maybe your handkerchief in your breast pocket. For me, my pop of color, I have a pop of color, but I also have a pop of jewelry on. So think about a pop, something that is interesting but doesn't detract from you. There's a sweet spot between what is interesting but something that isn't so distracting that it takes away from your message. Here's another tip. Make sure your clothes fit you well. Now, I know many of us buy clothes right off the rack and they fit maybe 90% right, but sometimes they need just a little bit of tailoring. Maybe the sleeve is too short or the hemline, or maybe your pants are too short, too long. This is a time where you should take them in and get them tailored so that they look exquisite on you. So before you go on stage, just do a quick check, whether you're in the green room or you're right before people start coming in the door and you're mingling with people. Just do a quick check from top to bottom. I'm always concerned, is there lipstick on my teeth? Do I have something called an Irish pennant? I used to be in the Coast Guard, and a little slip of string would be showing. That's called an Irish pennant, just in case you wanted to know. Or there was one time I was watching a woman, she had on a very nice outfit, but the lining of her skirt was showing in the back, and it just gets distracting. You're like, could you just fix that? Alas, no, because she didn't do a quick check in the mirror. Or just get your buddy, your fellow panelist. Is everything good? I'm good. We don't want any wardrobe malfunctions, so do a quick check. Finally, if you're still a little stuck on what to wear, I would recommend watching a little TV. Go to your favorite talk shows or go to your news journalism that do panels and see what they're wearing. You can get a little inspiration because after all, these are the professionals. They're on camera all the time. They know what colors work for them. They know what styles work for them, and you might get some inspiration. So before we move on to specific tips for men and women, did you get an idea in there? I'd love to hear it. Just put it in the comment box. And while you're down there, if you wouldn't mind liking this video and maybe even subscribing, that would be awesome. Thanks. So let's start with tips for men. You cannot go wrong in a formal environment with a suit or a sport coat. You decide whether it's with a tie or not. In an informal environment, I would suggest you cannot go wrong with a sport coat, no tie. Now, you decide what you want to do. Once upon a time, I would be caught dead wearing jeans on a panel, and nowadays, jeans, as long as there's no rips in them and they're decent, I think that they're perfectly acceptable on a panel. You decide, but I'm just saying, you can't go wrong with some kind of sport coat or a suit if you're on a really formal panel. Okay, so you're gonna wear some kind of coat. Wear a contrasting color shirt. Okay, we just talked about contrast colors. You can wear a white shirt, but only if it's in your color palette. Just make sure that your shirt is contrasting whatever you're wearing for the coat, if you are wearing a coat. So let's talk socks. If you are going to wear socks, which if you are going for the more casual vibe, if you're wearing shoes that are kind of lend themselves to no socks, don't wear any socks. But if you are going to wear socks, please make sure that your socks cover your calf, because men, as you cross your legs, you get that weird space between the end of your sock and your hairy leg. I don't know about you, but it's just not a good look. So just make sure that if you are going to wear socks, that it covers your calf. Okay, we've talked about socks. Now let's talk about shoes. You would be surprised at how many people look at your shoes. And if your shoes are in good shape, awesome. But you know what? If they need a little shoe polish, now is the time to go get your shoes polished. Or even better yet, you polish your shoes. Or if you're wearing those super cool sneakers, wash them or put a little soap and water to them. Now's the time. So those are some general tips for men. Now keep in mind, there might be some things that you go, Kristen, that's not me. Awesome, these are just guidelines. You do you, whatever fits your personal style, as well as the vibe that you want to give across. Sound good? Okay, so let's talk about women in a panel discussion. You have so many more options. The default that I think works really, really well is a pantsuit. You don't have to worry about chairs, whether you fit in them or not, what they see, what they don't see. A pantsuit, either in a black, navy blue, charcoal, dark chestnut brown, those all work really, really well. That's a default. It's very professional. Not a problem. Now, if you love color, I think there's many of us that do like color. Color in a pantsuit is good. I would just be careful. In jewel tones probably look best on camera. It needs to match your palette. You can do a different color, a solid on the bottom, and maybe something interesting on the top, whether it's a shirt or a jacket. Just make sure that you've got that contrasting effect as well. Now, if you don't want to wear a pantsuit, you wear a skirt. Just make sure that the skirt is long enough that it is easy enough for you to cross your legs in, that it's comfortable on that chair. You may or may not know what chair you're going to be sitting in. A skirt is nice because you can clip a lavalier belt to it. Just make sure that you're comfortable in that skirt. Now, some women simply prefer a dress. Just make sure that it is tailored, it fits elegant. You do not need to be wearing a big sack of clothes, quite frankly. Unless that's your style, that's the vibe that you want to give. The problem with a dress is you may or may not have a place to clip your lavalier mic or clip your lavalier belt. So just think about that as you're choosing what dress you're going to pick. I've seen many women who add a belt to the dress so that there's a place that they can clip the lavalier pack to. I've also seen some women who, if you're a panelist and you're not the panel moderator, because I as a panel moderator, I like to walk all over the place, I will actually just put the lavalier pack on the chair next to me. If I'm not getting up, I really don't need anything that I need to clip it on. You just need to make sure that you have a place to clip your lavalier microphone. Okay, so I talked about socks for the men. I'm gonna talk about pantyhose for the women. If you are wearing a dress or you're wearing a skirt, if you have awesome looking legs, then you don't need to wear a pantyhose. But some of us, our legs are not as awesome. And if they are not as awesome, you might want to consider wearing some sheer nude colored pantyhose. Okay, so let's talk shoes. Just like the men, you need to make sure that they're well polished, that there aren't any scuffs, that there's no holes on the bottom. But with women, there's a bit of a challenge in that many of us like to wear shoes because they're adorable, but they're not very practical to wear on a stage. Keep in mind, the stage may or may not have carpet on it. The stage may be very hollow when you walk on it. So if you're wearing heels, clunky heels, you will be heard tromping onto the stage where your fellow panelists will not be making as much noise. So just think about that, what kind of shoes that you want to wear. So when it comes to accessories, I would recommend one eye-catching piece. I am wearing one eye-catching piece of accessory. If I wore a brooch or if I had a bunch of bracelets and things like that, it would just be a little too much, a little overwhelming. General rule of thumb, one really nice piece of eye-catching jewelry. When it comes to lipstick, I recommend a red lipstick that fits your color palette. So some people are more of a blue tone, and some people are more of a warmer tone. Just make sure that that red is something that you feel comfortable with. I'm not a big fan of wearing deep lipsticks, but when you are on a panel or you're being projected, everything is enhanced. So maybe you're wearing a more vibrant color than you're used to. Maybe you're wearing a more vibrant lipstick than you're used to, because you do want to have that pop of color. So let's talk jeans. Jeans, just like for men, jeans are becoming much more norm depending on what the audience is wearing. If the audience is wearing jeans, you can wear jeans maybe one notch above, depending on the vibe of the conference. I would recommend for a woman that they are well tailored, no holes, no rips, unless that's the vibe that you want to give across, that's part of your brand. But I would just make sure that they are a nice, well-cut pair of jeans. So here are a few do nots. Whether you're a man or a woman, first and foremost, do not show too much skin. That means no bare shoulders, plunging necklines. You do not need any wardrobe malfunctions. You do not need the audience to strain the eyes. That means really busy patterns, floral prints, things that strain the eyes, maybe very shimmery fabrics. It's just not necessary. That the audience wants to look at you, your face, not what you're wearing. Beware of anything that's transparent. Some fabrics have more of a transparent sheen and you can see what's going on underneath it. Maybe that's your intention, but I would just stay away from transparent fabrics. I would also stay away from things that have a heavy detail to them. Maybe there's a big belt buckle, or there's a big knot to it, or it's so overpowering in the frame of your viewership that it becomes distracting rather than enticing. Finally, I would stay away from anything that is just way over the top. If you are wondering if this is over the top, then you probably shouldn't wear it. I mean, I'm talking about oversized necklaces, oversized scarves, oversized like I'm wearing 30 bracelets, unless it's part of your brand. I have a professional speaker colleague who, it's her brand. She's got 30 bracelets. She has never taken them off. That's part of her brand. But for the most of us, if it's over the top, I would suggest you don't wear it. Remember, you want people to be focusing on what you're saying, not what you're wearing. So as you go into your closet and you pick out an outfit, pick something that you think makes you feel comfortable and sends the message to the audience that you are professional, you are well respected, and that you know what you are talking about. So go ahead into that closet and pick out that perfect outfit that you feel comfortable in. It sends the vibe that you're looking for and establishes you as that credible professional that the audience wants to lean in and listen to. And as a panelist, there are probably some other things that you need to be paying attention to as you get ready for that panel. I've put together a free downloadable checklist, and you can find it at www.powerfulpanels.com/checklist. Hey, thanks for watching.